The car doors locked with a sharp, unmistakable click. Andre Williams noticed it instantly. Not because he was nervous, he wasn't, but because years of living carefully had trained him to register small changes fast, the kind you didn't ignore, the kind that told you whether you still had control of a situation. Andre, black, late 20s, software analyst, calm by nature, sat in the back seat of a rideshare sedan idling under a flickering streetlight. It was just past 11 p.m. The city outside the window was half asleep, neon reflections smearing across rain-dark pavement. The ride was supposed to be simple, 10 minutes home after a late shift. No conversation, no drama, until the driver spoke. "You don't gotta slam the door like that," the man said sharply. Andre blinked. "I didn't slam it." The driver glanced at him in the rearview mirror. Rick Miller, white, mid-40s, thick neck, baseball cap pulled low, didn't smile. His eyes lingered longer than necessary. "Sounded like you did," Rick replied. Andre kept his voice even. "I closed it normally," Rick scoffed. "Funny how people never think they do anything wrong." Andre shifted slightly in his seat. "Can we just go?" Rick didn't pull away. Instead, he turned halfway around in his seat, resting an elbow on the console. "See, that's the problem," he said. "No respect." Andre's pulse ticked up. Not panic, but alertness. "I paid for a ride. That's the transaction." Rick laughed, short and humorless. "You think money buys manners?" Andre stared at him. "Unlock the doors." Rick turned back to the front and put the car in drive. The doors stayed locked. "We're gonna have a talk first," Rick said. "Teach some respect." Andre's chest tightened. "Pull over." Rick accelerated. Streetlights blurred past faster now. Andre reached for the door handle and pulled. Locked. He checked the other door. Same. "Unlock the car," Andre said, louder now. Rick smiled in the mirror. "Relax. I'm not kidnapping you." Andre's phone was already in his hand. "Then unlock the doors," Andre replied. "Now." Rick shook his head. "Nah, you need to learn something." Andre hit record, not the camera, the app. He tapped into the ride details, watching the GPS line crawl across the screen, time-stamped, tracked, irrefutable. "Just so you know," Andre said calmly, eyes on the phone, "this ride is being logged in real time." Rick rolled his eyes. "You think I care about some app?" Andre looked up and met his gaze in the mirror. "I think you should," he said, because Rick thought he was teaching a lesson. But the GPS had already started telling a different story. One that didn't require Andre to raise his voice, one that didn't care who Rick thought he was, and one that would end this ride very differently than it started. Rick kept driving. Rick kept... The city thinned out as they moved farther from the busy strip. Fewer storefronts, fewer pedestrians, longer stretches of dark road broken by the occasional traffic light. Andre watched the GPS dot slide forward on his screen, the route line curving slightly off what he knew was the fastest way home. "Why are you going this way?" Andre asked. Rick shrugged exaggeratedly. "Traffic." "There is no traffic," Andre said. "The app shows a shorter route." Rick chuckled. "You telling me how to do my job now?" Andre didn't respond. He opened the in-app safety menu instead, his thumb hovering just above the options. Emergency assistance, share trip, report issue. Every movement Rick made, every turn, every second, was being logged. The doors were still locked. Andre spoke again, slower this time. "You don't get to decide when someone's trapped." Rick glanced at him in the mirror, annoyance flashing across his face. "You're not trapped, you're riding." "Against my will," Andre said. "That's the difference." Rick exhaled sharply. "Man, you people are always dramatic." Andre felt the words land, cold and deliberate. "You're recording yourself right now," Andre said evenly. "Your speed, your route, the fact that you ignored a stop request." Rick laughed again, but it sounded tighter this time. "You think some GPS line means anything?" Andre tilted his phone slightly so Rick could see the screen reflected in the mirror. It means everything. Timestamps, route deviation, door lock status. Rick's eyes flicked to the phone, then back to the road. "You gonna snitch?" he muttered. "I'm going to get out," Andre replied. "Safely, or you're going to explain why I didn't." The car slowed at a red light. Andre's hand tightened around the phone. If the doors unlocked now, he was ready to move. They didn't. Rick rolled through the light just as it turned green, accelerating again. Andre selected Share Trip and sent the live GPS link to 2 contacts. Then he tapped Emergency Assistance, not to call yet, just enough to activate the internal alert system. Rick noticed the change in Andre's posture. "What are you doing back there?" "Creating witnesses," Andre said. The silence that followed was heavy. Rick's jaw clenched. "You're really trying to ruin my night over nothing." Andre met his eyes in the mirror. "You did that yourself when you locked the doors." The GPS line on Andre's screen flashed briefly as the route recalculated, now clearly marked deviation detected. Andre didn't smile. He didn't threaten. He just watched the data stack up. Because Rick still thought this was about respect. But it wasn't. It was about control. And the moment Rick took it, the system started keeping score. And systems don't forget. Rick's confidence didn't collapse all at once. It thinned, the way bravado does when it realizes it's no longer the loudest thing in the car. Andre could feel the shift without looking up from his phone. The driver's shoulders were tighter now. His grip on the steering wheel had changed, less casual, more deliberate. The jokes had stopped. "You didn't have to go that far," Rick said after a moment. Andre didn't answer. The GPS dot continued moving, every second adding another line of proof. Speed, direction, time. Andre noticed the car had slowed slightly, just enough to be intentional. "I was just making a point," Rick added. "People don't know how to talk anymore." Andre finally looked up. "You locked the doors." Rick exhaled hard through his nose. "For 2 seconds." "It's been over 3 minutes," Andre said. "The app knows exactly how long." Rick glanced at the rearview mirror again. This time, his eyes lingered on the phone longer. "You can turn that off," he said. Andre shook his head. "I won't." The car came to another light and stopped. A gas station sat on the corner, bright and open, a few people moving in and out. Andre felt his muscles tense, ready. Still locked. Rick tapped his fingers against the wheel. "You're blowing this up." Andre's voice stayed calm. "I asked you to unlock the doors. Multiple times." Rick's jaw worked as if he wanted to say something else. Instead, he did something worse. He reached up and adjusted the dash cam. Andre caught it immediately. "Don't," Andre said. Rick's hand froze for a split second, then dropped back down. "It's my car." "That camera is part of the platform," Andre replied. "And the GPS already has everything." Rick stared straight ahead now, lips pressed tight. The light changed. He drove forward. Andre's phone vibrated. "Platform safety. We see unusual activity on your trip. Are you safe?" Andre tapped no. He didn't look at Rick when he did it. The effect was immediate. Rick's phone buzzed in the front seat, then buzzed again. "What did you do?" Rick asked, his voice sharp now, not mocking. Andre leaned back slightly. "I answered a question honestly." Rick's phone buzzed a third time, louder, persistent. The car slowed. Rick swallowed. "This is ridiculous." Andre watched the map as the GPS marked another deviation, this time toward a well-lit main road. "Pull over," Andre said. Rick hesitated. Andre didn't raise his voice. "Pull over, unlock the doors." Rick did both at once. The car rolled to the curb. The locks clicked open, loud in the sudden quiet. Andre opened the door immediately and stepped out, heart pounding now, not from fear, but from release. He shut the door behind him and took 2 steps back. Rick leaned out his window. "You didn't have to." Andre held up his phone. "The ride's over." Rick opened his mouth, then closed it. Andre ended the trip in the app, standing under the bright streetlight, the GPS line freezing in place. Because whatever Rick had been trying to teach, the data had already finished the lesson, and it was one Rick wouldn't be able to talk his way out of. Andre stood on the sidewalk for a moment longer after the car pulled away, letting his breathing slow and the adrenaline drain out of his system. The street was quiet but not empty, passing cars, a bus sighing to a stop half a block away, the ordinary sounds that made the world feel solid again. His phone buzzed. Trip ended. Safety review. In progress. He didn't move right away. He read it twice. Then another notification followed. We've detected a serious policy violation. A safety agent will contact you shortly. Andre slipped the phone into his pocket and walked the rest of the way home, every step grounding him more firmly in his body. By the time he reached his building, his hands had stopped shaking. 10 minutes later, the call came. The safety agent's voice was calm, practiced, and direct. She asked Andre to confirm details he already knew by heart. The moment the doors locked, the request to stop, the route deviation, the exact time he exited the vehicle. Andre answered without embellishment, without emotion. He didn't need to add anything. The GPS had already done the talking. We can see the locked door duration, the agent said. We can see the deviation from the assigned route, and we can see when you flagged yourself as unsafe. Andre nodded even though she couldn't see him. That's what happened. I'm sorry this occurred, she said. This behavior violates our highest level safety standards. After the call ended, Andre sat on his couch in the quiet of his apartment, lights off, city glow spilling in through the window. His phone chimed again. Driver account. Deactivated pending investigation. Then a final message. Investigation. Complete. Driver permanently removed from platform. Andre stared at the screen, not with satisfaction, but with a deep, steady calm. Rick's story had ended not with an argument, not with raised voices or competing versions of events, but with numbers, coordinates, timestamps, a clean, unarguable line on a map showing exactly when control had been taken and exactly when it had been returned. The next day, Andre received an email offering a refund, a credit, and a formal apology. He accepted the refund and ignored the rest. What mattered wasn't the compensation, it was the clarity. Rick had believed he could control the moment by controlling the space, by locking doors, by forcing a conversation, by assuming silence would protect him. But the GPS didn't care about his intentions. It didn't care about his tone, it didn't care who he thought deserved respect, it just recorded. Weeks later, Andre took another rideshare. Different driver, different car. When the doors unlocked at his destination, Andre stepped out without a second thought. Most rides ended the way they should, uneventfully. But he knew now, with certainty, that if someone ever tried to rewrite the rules again, the system would remember what they did, even if they didn't. Because the moment Rick locked those doors, his story stopped belonging to him. And once the GPS data told it straight, there was nothing left to explain.